Welcome everyone to Morning Flow. We're a day late, but not a dollar short. This is always free on Facebook Live. My name is Mark Cormier, and we'll be joined by Kathy Cormier momentarily. In the meantime, let's get going. I'll invite you to bring your hands on your hips and gently rocking yourself from side to side. Almost like a little sideways march here. And then starting to slow that march down, making it a little smaller, a little more gradual. And now ground it down through both feet as we still rock it from side to side. And then back to center. We have a choice, either keeping our feet wide or challenging your balance as you narrow your stance. Tightest you'd work would be big toes touch, heels slightly apart. From this place, I'll invite you to bring your hands to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. A slight tuck of the chin, starting to bring our attention inward, watching as our breath flows in and out. From this place of just watching your breath, I'll invite you to shape your breath as you find a long, slow inhalation in, followed by a long, slow exhalation out. As you breathe in, I'll invite you to find a full body breath, bringing the air to the top of the chest, the base of the belly, filling up each side waist, filling up both front and back planes of your bodies. As you breathe out, I'll encourage you to engage your abdominals as you draw the low belly in and up, concurrently lifting the kidneys in and up, squeezing a little more air out, more importantly, providing structural support for our low back. To this deeper, fuller breath, moving towards a go-to breath in many flow practices, the Ujjayi or ocean breath, slightly constricting the base of your throat, adding a slight sound and feel to your breath. And as we flow through our practice, letting the sound and feel of your breath be a focus for your practice, known as the Ujjayi breath, the victorious breath, often compared to the sound of the ocean as the waves wash in and out. Now taking the tip of your tongue to the hard palate just behind your teeth, keeping that tongue loop throughout the practice, keeping our jaws relaxed and connecting front and back planes of our bodies. And finally, with your lips closed, adding a slight smile to your face, a Mona Lisa smile, opening up the front of your throat so your breath has lots of room to circulate, refresh, and revitalize. Keeping all this, lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your side. Let me introduce Kathy Cormier.
Good morning.
How are you this morning, Kathy?
I am great. How about you?
I'm doing awesome. We're a day late, but not a dollar short, because this is always free, a service we offer on Facebook Live for all of our friends and family. So we've done all the breathing, so you have your Ujjayi breath down. We're going to start to move. Keeping it simple, arms up and over the head, inhaling. Exhaling, arms back down. 2 more times like this. Inhaling, arms up. Whoops. Exhaling, arms down. Inhaling, arms up. Exhaling, arms down. Adding a forward fold and a back bend. Inhaling, arms up. On the exhale, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to arc the back, hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, folding again, hands can catch the back of the shins as you traction yourself deeper. Inhaling, arms out to the side and then overhead, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhaling, standing tall. 2 more times just like that. Inhaling up. Exhaling, leading with the heart as you fold. Take a breath to find length as we arc the back. On the exhale, arching the spine as we fold again. Inhaling, moving towards a neutral spine, hinging at the hips, arms out to the side and then overhead. Exhaling, standing tall. 1 more time like this. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. On the exhale, keeping that length as you fold again. Inhaling, riding the breath up. Exhaling, standing tall. And you at home stay just as you are. Kathy, I'll ask you to go sideways for sun salutation A. Inhaling, arms up and over the head. On the exhale, finding your forward fold. Inhaling, finding length as you arc. On the exhale, folding again. Now grounding down through the hands and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either stretching straight back or cycling through vinyasa. Vinyasa just means connected movement through space. And that typically is going to be a push-up into a back bend, Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, up dog, or maybe finding a cobra. And then on the exhale, rolling back over the toes and either finding your down dog and holding. Other choices might be all fours. You might find a child's pose. Always finding a good balance between your effort and your ease. Wherever you choose to work, breathing, watching that breath, and enjoying your reflection upon that breath. Feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail end of that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone just a little bit higher. And then looking between the hands as you mindfully make your way to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, hinging at the hips, leading with the back of the heart, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Second one just like the first. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Inhaling, finding length. On the exhale, folding again. And making your way back to down dog as you will. Either stretching straight back or cycling through vinyasa. And vinyasa again just means connected movement through space. There's lots of ways to move through space with grace. Find your way. Following your breath, following your flow. As we hold down dog, I invite you to bring your attention to the base of your throat. From that place, listening and feeling as your Ujjayi breath flows in. And as your Ujjayi breath flows out. Feeling free to stay wherever you are. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. More space in your low back. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump to the front of your mat. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Let's do one more. We'll throw a moving plank into the mix. Inhaling up. Exhaling over. Take a breath to find length. Hands can cap the knees. On the exhale, folding again. Hands can either catch the back of the shins or grounding on down as you make your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. Feeling free to hold your down dog or generating more tapas or heat as we inhale forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine, lifting hips high. 2 more times like this. Inhaling forward. Exhaling, taking it back. Inhaling forward and holding. Exhaling. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath, breath in. And on that next exhale, navel to spine. As you lift the hips high and holding for another couple of breaths. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher, filling that space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding again. Inhaling, riding the breath up, arms out to the side and then overhead. On the exhale, standing tall. Sun salutation B. We'll do it flow style. Starting with a chair, knees over toes, hands overhead. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, glutes engaged to support a back bend at the top. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Following your breath. On the inhale, finding length as you look up. On the exhale, folding again and making your way back to down dog as you will. You can take your time, find your flow. From down dog, flow style. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Finding a three-legged dog, right leg high to the sky. High in the left toes. Now looking between the hands, bringing that right foot through, spinning the left heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for warrior one. And then riding your exhale back down to low lunge as you spin that back heel up, and then back to down dog as you will, either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Yogi's choice. When you're ready for that second side, from down dog, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high in the right toes. Looking between the hands as you bring that left foot through. Spinning the right heel down, back leg long, back leg strong, arms out to the side and then overhead. And on the exhale, back to low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. Hold down dog, I'll invite you to bring your attention to your hands, grounding down through the base of the fingers, but drawing the center of the palm up towards the shoulders as we draw energy up from the floor. Shoulders engaged, either keeping the neck relaxed and the head super, super heavy, or long through all sides of the neck as you look back towards your navel. From down dog, long, smooth breath in. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, knees over toes, hands overhead for the chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine, hands by our side. Let's do one more sun sal B. We'll throw a hip opener into the mix. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Inhaling, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. And take your time. Inhaling, finding length. Exhaling, folding again. And making your way back to down dog as you will. From down dog, flow style, big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky for the three-legged dog. High on the left toes. Keeping right shoulder just as it is, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, letting the weight of the leg open up your hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing right foot through, spinning left heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead. And then riding the exhale back to low lunge, and then back to down dog as you will. Second side, big toes touch, heels slightly apart, left leg high to the sky, high on the right toes. Keeping left shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands, bringing left foot through, spinning the right heel down, back leg long, back leg strong, arms out to the side and then overhead. And then riding your exhale back down to low lunge, spinning back heel up, and from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back, your choice. As we hold down dog, coming back to same breath, Samavriti. Even inhale, even exhale. From down dog, long smooth breath in. Long smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly, lifting the tailbone a little higher, more space in the low back, and then looking between the hands as you either step or take a jump front. Take a breath to find length. Exhaling, folding again. On the inhale, stay low. We'll come back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up, open heart, open throat. On the exhale, neutral spine. I'll invite you to bring hands back to your heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum, lining up each finger. A slight tuck of the chin. Coming back to that internal focus. Watching as your breath flows in. And watching as your breath flows out. Lifting the chin tall through the crown, hands by your sides. I'll invite you to bring hands on hips as you either step or jump your feet hip width apart. Working with our fire breath, short, sharp exhalations out through the nose. As we inhale, arms up to one side. On the exhale, giving our wrists a flick, bending the knees. And then second side. We're halfway done. One more each side. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping it back in. Sun Sal C. Starting with a chair. Inhaling into your chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Thank you for going sideways, Kathy. On the inhale, finding length as you arc. On the exhale, arching and grounding on down and making your way back to down dog as you will. Either cycling through vinyasa or stretching straight back. Your choice. And we're going to repeat that same hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky. High on the left toes. Keeping right shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. And then looking between the hands as you bring the right foot through, spinning the back heel down. Arms out to the side and then overhead for our Warrior One. As we hold Warrior One, long through each side waist, long through those arms, and there you go, long through those fingers. You might open up heart and throat chakra a little bit. From here, with the breath, adding breath and movement as we inhale, arms up, straightening front leg without locking knee. On the exhale, cactus arms. And let's do that 6 times, breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. Breathing out. We're halfway done, breathing in. Breathing out. Last 2, breathing in. Breathing out. Last one, breathing in. Breathing out and holding Warrior One with cactus arms. As the elbows move back, the wrists come with, rippling those fingers, keeping our hands supple, supple, supple. Now moving towards a Warrior 3 balance challenge. I'll try to talk you through it here. Hands find the hips. Spinning the back heel up as you take a big step in. Starting to balance on that right foot, any amount. Starting to lengthen through the legs as you pitch the body forward. Working arm variations. Hands can stay on hips so they can stretch towards that back foot. Shoulders stretch away from the ears. Now finding your airplane arms. Arms out to the side, wide across the front of the heart. Now sweeping those hands in front as if you're holding a large glass ball and challenging your balance as you lift the face to look through that ball. Hands in front come to the heart. Heart hands become hip hands. Back foot lands lightly as we find our Warrior One prep. Now let's turn Warrior One hips into Warrior Two hips as we open up the hips to face the side. right foot front, left foot back, yeah. And you're just changing direction so we can get a better camera view. So hips face the side, you've got one long arm, and then looking out over those front fingers with a steady yet relaxed gaze. So add that drishti. From here, I'll invite you to paint rainbows. Breathing in, palm faces back. Exhaling back to warrior two. Breathing in. And breathing out. Breathing in. And breathing out. Or halfway done. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last two here. Breathing in. Breathing out. Last one. Breathing in and holding the reverse warrior. Reaching up higher, reaching down further, finding your space on that front lateral line, more space between each rib, and breathing into that space. Now turning reverse warrior back into warrior two, rebending that front leg. And now finding a rainbow warrior, clasp of the fingers behind the back. You might use a strap, a towel, a Pilates ring. Shoulder blades down and back. And then leading with the heart as you challenge your balance with the forward fold inside the front leg. Little experiment here. I'll invite you to spin the back heel up and take a big step in. And then try to find a float as you balance on that front foot in the rainbow warrior. Landing that back foot lightly, coming back to a place where you're upright and you're stretching those hands away and down, open heart, open throat, and then releasing the clasp of the fingers as you come back to your warrior two. From here, transitioning to triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib, deepening that crease, lengthening those ribs, and then grounding bottom hand down either on shin. You might grab a brick or a book and put that outside that calf. Opening up top shoulder and then stretching hand high to the sky for your half moon balance pose. Let's get it right here, yeah. And you can feel a little contact between the outside of your calf and the brick. As we hold the triangle, maybe imagining like there's a glass wall behind you and you're leaning into the glass wall, but you don't want to break that glass. Nice, beautiful triangle. Looks so good on camera too. As we hold the shape, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below your navel. As you breathe out from that place, getting bigger in space as you send energy out through the legs, the arms, and both ends of the spine. From here, yet another balance challenge as we move towards our half moon. Top hand finds the hip. Taking a big step in, you can spin the heel up to do that. And then setting your base, right hand off to the right. I'll suggest a nice wide base. Take your time.
I'm just trying to get in the camera.
And I appreciate that effort. Awesome. Yeah. And you might open up that shoulder with the hand. And as we hold the balance challenge again. As you breathe in, your diaphragm stretches down towards your navel, gathering energy in that place. And then as you breathe out, as the diaphragm relaxes and domes up to the heart, getting energy out into space from the center of yourself to the periphery of the room. Nice. And those 2 bricks, you look so easeful in that shape. Thank you for taking the time to find your optimal alignment.
My arms just need to be a foot longer.
A foot longer. And you look like, what's that? Superhero stretch?
Yeah.
From here, let's come down easefully. Hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance. No big deal. Shifting the weight into the feet. Hands find the hips. You're going to lengthen your stance. Yeah. And the safest way to do it, just so you know, I know for the purposes of the camera, you're going to move front foot, but is to shift weight onto the front foot and then step the back foot back. Coming back to your warrior two, one long arm. From here, a big windmill of the arms. You just stretch out those shoulders, spinning back heel up for your low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Take your time. And as we hold down dog or any other shape you've chosen, Coming back to that same breath, that Samavriti. Even inhale. Even exhale. Every aspect. Length, duration, intensity. Where the air goes, where the air doesn't go. So let's work that same sequence second side, but before we do that, let's generate a little more tapas or heat. And we'll come back to that moving plank sequence. As we inhale forward to plank pose. On the exhale, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. Inhaling forward to the plank. Exhaling, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. This last one, let's hold 2.5 breaths. Inhaling forward. Exhale and hold. Inhale and hold. Exhale and hold. One more half breath, breath in. And then breath out, navel to spine as you lift the hips high. From here, moving towards our hip opener. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. We're going to work with the left leg, even though Kathy's changing directions here. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Left leg high to the sky, high in the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Still keeping that shoulder anchored as you bend the leg, opening up the hip. Notice the difference. Excuse me. And now looking between the hands as you bring that left foot through, spinning the back heel down, arms out to the side, and then overhead for your warrior one. Holding warrior one for a couple of breaths, feeling long through the torso, long through the arms, long through the fingers, even opening up heart and throat chakra. Maybe pretending like you're holding that large glass ball and you're looking through that ball up to the sky. From here, with the breath, gathering up the energy as we straighten the front leg without locking the knee. On the exhale, cactus arms. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Inhale and exhale. Last two, breathing in, breathing out. Last one, breathing in, breathing out, and holding. The elbows move back, the wrists come with, rippling those fingers, just enjoying the stretch. From here, bringing hands to hips, spinning the back heel up as you take a big step in. We're moving towards our warrior three. Take your time. Anytime we rush into the balance poses, usually it doesn't help, so take your time. Starting to balance on that front foot as back foot lifts up. Working any amount, pitching the body forward as you lengthen through the legs. Working the arm variation so we can stretch hands back as the shoulders stretch away from the ears. Now stretching hands wide as we stretch wide across the front of the heart. Also consider stretching wide across the back of the heart. Now stretching those hands in front as if you're holding that large glass ball and lifting your face to look to that ball. Hands in front come to the heart. Heart hands become hip hands. Landing that back foot lightly, finding our warrior one prep. And I think everything's perfect here. You're going to steer the hips out to the side with those hands. As we turn warrior one hips into warrior two hips, and then finding an alignment with that back foot that works for your knee. The most you'd go would be parallel. I like a little angle in, but everybody's hips are shaped a little bit differently. So find a place that works for your knee. And then one long arm, looking out over those front fingers with that steady yet relaxed gaze. From here, painting rainbows, breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. We're halfway done. Breathing in and breathing out. Last two. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale and hold. As you reach up higher, you reach down further, feeling the stretch. Breathing into that front lateral line, finding more space between each rib with every breath. And then turning the reverse warrior back into warrior two. Finding your rainbow warrior. Feel free to use a strap or a towel, or switching the clasp of the fingers behind the back. Shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then taking a forward fold inside the front leg and hanging out there for a couple of breaths. So let's repeat that somewhat less than successful experiment on this side. As you spin the back heel up, Taking a big step in and staying in the rainbow warrior as you try to float that back foot up. Awesome. It's not easy, I can tell. From this place, let's land the back foot lightly, coming back to an upright position. Again, open heart, open throat. And then releasing the clasp of the fingers as you come back to your warrior two. In our warrior two, transitioning to the triangle, thumb and forefinger find crease of hip and base of rib. You want to deepen that crease and lengthen those ribs. Grounding that bottom hand down, either on shin, brick or bricks outside the calf. And if you do use the bricks, I like to feel a little physical connection between the brick and the calf. I'll move this back just a little bit, yeah. And then you can pretend there's a glass wall here. You want to lean into the wall without breaking the glass. So it's not a big lean back, but it's just kind of feeling a lot of connection between the back plane of the body. And with that connection, you can feel more space across the front of the heart. Awesome. As you hold the shape, breathing into your center of balance, 3 fingers below the navel. Every time you breathe out from that place of balance, connecting the center of yourself to the periphery of the room. And so it's a beautiful triangle, nice background. Kathy's got her cool yoga clothes on. Almost like she's the embodiment of a shadow itself. Moving towards your half moon balance challenge here. Top hand finds the hip. Take your time. Again, never rush into a balance. As you maybe spin the back heel up as you take a big step in. Setting your base, left hand off to the left, feeling free to use as many bricks as you need. And I like a nice wide base here, just because obviously with a wider base, it's going to be a little more stable. Having said that, once you're used to the shape, and if you're not near big windows here, big scary windows, you might narrow the base just to challenge your balance. And Kathy's doing a great job staying in the frame here, but at home you could, of course, just launch right into the shape and hold the shape. Awesome, yeah, take your time. It's weird with the mat, yeah.
Well, it's more than just trying to really balance myself.
Awesome, yeah, it looks like you've done a great job. And again, as we hold the shape, breathing into that center of balance. And from that place, getting bigger in space. Awesome. Coming down easefully, top hand finds the hip. We can land a short stance. Take your time. Shifting the weight into the feet, hands find the hips. Now, Kathy's going to do what she's going to do to stay in the center of the frame, but the safest way to lengthen a stance is to shift weight onto the front foot as you step the back foot back. And that's safer for the knee. Awesome. And then back to your warrior two, one long arm. And then from our warrior two, a big windmill of the arms as you stretch out those shoulders for low lunge. And from low lunge, back to down dog as you will. Deep full breaths. As you hold your down dog or any other shape you're in, coming back to that same breath, that Samavriti. Even inhale, even exhale in every aspect. Preparing for a same equanimity, a same evenness as we prepare for our day. Not too hot, not too cold. Was it the middle bear? Was it Goldilocks?
Goldilocks.
Not too hot, not too cold. Just right. From our down dog shape, long, smooth breath out. Long, smooth breath out. Tail into that breath, bending the knees ever so slightly as you lift the tailbone a little higher. And then looking between the hands as you either step or take that jump front. Take a breath to find length when you arrive. On the exhale, folding again. On the inhale, stay low, coming back to our chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. Awesome, look how low she got. Just make sure your knees feel okay. On the inhale, rising on up, the Jack in the Box maneuver, and then neutral spine, hands by our side. On the light, to bring hands to heart. This time adding an isometric engagement as we press the palms together, elbows wide, a tuck of the tail, a tuck of the chin, connecting with the strength of your center. And then lifting the chin, tall through the crown. Again, working with that fire breath. This time inhaling arms out to each side. On the exhale, passing the hands through center, giving those wrists a little flick as we cross the hands, and then switching across. Halfway done. Couple more each way. One more each side. And then back up. And either stepping or jumping in it. Sun Sal D. Inhaling into a chair. Exhaling, taking it lower. On the inhale, rising on up. On the exhale, a big swan dive over. Take a breath to find length. Keeping that length as you fold again. And making your way back to down dog as you will. Deep full breaths. So I want to work a pigeon sequence, also known as a swan sequence. We're going to do right leg first, and then we're going to do left leg, just so everyone's clear here. Big toes touch, heels slightly apart. Right leg high to the sky, high on the left toes. Keeping that right shoulder anchored, lifted leg straight as you stack the hips. Now bending that lifted leg, opening up that hip. Try to keep that right shoulder just as it is, and you'll feel more twist in the torso. Less stress on the shoulder. Now looking between the hands, you're going to bring that right knee towards the right wrist, walking the left foot back as you settle the hips. Unfurling that back foot to stabilize the shape. Finding the tips of 10 fingers as you set the shoulder blades back and down. And then just like in the sun salve, leading with the heart as you find a forward fold. Stretching out your back. Take your time. And then eventually relaxing into the shape. Now with the arms in extension, if your forehead comes easily to the floor, that's a great place to work. If that's not quite the case, feeling free to cross the forearms or even making a pair of soft fists. Whether your forehead's pressed into the mat, a cross of the forearms, or a pair of soft fists, letting that connection between the brow and that surface soften the back of the head, the neck, and the shoulders. From here, finding the tips of 10 fingers. You might walk those hands back if the arms are in extension. And again, shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. From this, we're going to engage our core as we draw the perineum up towards the navel up towards the heart, as we sweep those hands out to the side, and then overhead for the flying swan. You might open up heart and throat chakra, again, maybe holding that large glass ball and looking through that ball. And Kathy makes this look easy, but it's not an easy pose by any means. No, it is not. She likes to circle those wrists. She has a little fun in the shape. And then when you're done playing, ground it down through the hands. I'll suggest the palms, unless you want to strengthen your fingers. And then tucking the back toes, keeping the knee joint closed as you come back to a three-legged dog. And then very carefully opening up that knee, maybe give it a little shake. And then ground it down through 2 feet. And either holding your down dog or cycling through vinyasa, your choice.
Just saying my knees are feeling.
Knees are feeling good, or?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think we look pretty safe on that first side. So we're going to do the second side. Left leg's up, You decide if you want to change to right. Yeah, I think we're fine. So left leg high in the right toes. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is, lift the leg straight as you stack the hips. Keeping that left shoulder just as it is as you bend the leg. It's going to be safer for your shoulder, although a lot more work. And then looking between the hands, you're going to bring left knee to left wrist. Take your time, make sure your knee feels good. Settling the hips at the same rate as you walk that right foot back. Unfurling the foot to stabilize the shape. Finding the tips of 10 fingers as we open up heart and throat chakra. And then keeping that openness in fourth and fifth chakra as you walk those hands front and take your time. Enjoying the stretch, enjoying the movement. With the arms in extension, if your forehead comes easily down, awesome. That can be a little bit much for our backs early in the morning, so feeling free to cross the forearms or even finding a pair of soft fists. I call those potatoes. Wherever, and you might even stack those fists if you want to work even higher up, Kathy. See how that works? Yeah. Wherever your brow is pressed into, whether it's the mat, the forearms, or the fists, letting that connection between the brow and the surface soften the back of the head, the neck, and the shoulders. And whatever sensations you're feeling, breathing into those sensations. From the sleeping swan, finding the tips of 10 fingers. Take your time. Again, settling those shoulder blades back and down, open heart, open throat. And then engaging the your core from top to bottom as you lift the perineum up towards the navel up towards the heart, as you float those hands out to the side, and then overhead for the flying swan. As we hold the flying swan long through both sides of the torso, long through the arms, long through those fingers. If you want to play with little wrist movements, dancing your swan. You might open up heart and throat chakra as you look up. Yeah, whoa. You'll be taking it a little side to side. Don't lose your balance. Make sure your knee wants to do that. And then when you're done playing, coming back, I'll suggest flat palms. Okay, that's a nice variation. And then from flat palms, tucking the toes, or the back toes are already tucked, but keep that knee joint closed as you lift the leg. And then very carefully opening up that knee. Yeah, give it a little shake. And then holding your down dog, and either staying there for a few breaths, maybe walking it side to side, or you have another opportunity to cycle through vinyasa, your choice, depending on how hard you want to work. That's the beauty of flow yoga. There's lots of agency for you to make good decisions as to where your energy level is, what you want to do. Not so instructor-centric, which I like as an instructor. I don't have to do all the work. From our down dog shape, I'll invite you to find a child's pose as you land your knees lightly, sits bones back towards the heels. I'll suggest arms in extension as you stretch out your back. And take your time. Make sure your knees want to be. How do your knees feel?
They're good.
They're good. Okay. Cool. And again, trying to find a press of the brow into something, whether it's the mat, forearms, a pair of soft fists. Palms can face down, or you can spin the palms up, maybe moving back and forth. Between those two experiences, you're seeing how your shoulders feel, inviting a little more circulation, a little more vitality. And then from the child's pose, I'll invite you to walk your hands in as you bring your feet off to one side, and we'll come down onto our backs. There are lots of different ways to do that. You can either plop it right down, or you might do a long, slow roll down onto your back, your choice. Yeah, Kathy's choosing the long, slow roll down. You could always catch the back of the thighs for the assist or not. Oh, beautiful. Those of you that are on the floor, I'll invite you to find a full supine body stretch, arms by the ears, not too low. Pointing fingers and toes, the low back's going to lift. And then sweeping hands by your side. As you press your back into the mat to engage your core, drawing one foot in and then the other. Finding a supine swan as you bring left ankle on top of right thigh. I'll suggest flexing the foot to engage the muscles around the knee. That's going to help support the connective tissue, the tendons and the ligaments. Drawing that knee in, reaching through as you thread the needle, catching the back of the thigh or the shin. As we hold the supine swan, I invite you to gently rock your body side to side. It's getting into those hips, releasing and relaxing your low back. And gently, anytime we rock ourselves, it's a very calming place to be. And knowing that whether you're physically rocking yourself or just energetically rocking yourself, you can rock yourself at any time during your day. Coming back to a place of stillness from the rock, unthreading the needle, slowly grounding down through that foot, keeping the top foot flexed as you bring it off the thigh again, engaging the muscles around the knee to keep the tendons and ligaments happy. Grounded down through 2 feet, just taking a long, slow breath into your low back. And then second side. As you bring right ankle on top of left thigh, taking your time as you draw that left knee in. At a certain point, threading the needle as you slide the hands through, catching the thigh or the shin. And then as we hold the supine swan on this side, any amount, just rocking yourself side to side. Releasing and relaxing your low back, getting into your hips, also soothing your nervous system. Everything's going to be okay. And knowing you can give yourself that solace at any point in your day, whether you're in a yoga shape or not. From a place of movement, moving back towards stillness, and then taking your time as you unthread the needle. But I'd say ground that foot first, before you take so you want to have that foundation first. And now you're going to keep the foot flexed as you bring it off. You want to keep the knee happy. And then ground it down through 2 feet, taking a breath into your back, and then taking your time as you move towards your Shavasana. Long through the legs, arms out to the side. I'll suggest palms up. Having said that, palms down is a great place to work too. Palms up, more open, more receptive. Palms down, a little more calming. And if you really want a lot of calm, you might even put your palms on your belly. And we won't be here too long. And I'm going to ring these yoga bells 3 times. At home, feeling free to stay in your Shavasana as long as you'd like. Sometimes I'll hold a Shavasana for up to 20 minutes. For the purposes of this class, I'll invite you to bring your mind to your breath, coming back to that internal focus, watching as your breath flows in and out. Now, shaping your breath, we'll start to vary that ratio between the inhale and the exhale, with a long, slow inhalation in and a longer, slower exhale out. Finding a more relaxing breath with longer, slower exhalations. Inviting more vitality into your body as you gently ripple fingers and toes. Inviting that vitality in towards center as you gently circle your wrists and your ankles. Now pressing your low back into the mat to engage your core as you draw one knee in and then the other, hands catch the shins. Using your thighs to gently massage your belly, rocking it front to back, maybe side to side, maybe little circles. And then stretching long through an arm, rolling onto your side, hanging out there for a couple of breaths. Maybe letting those breaths sigh out through your mouth as you relax your shoulders, soften your jaw, softening the corners of your eyes. And then when you're ready, there's no rush as you push into the hands to come up and find a cross-legged sit. As we sit, grounded down through our sits bones, I'll invite you to bring your hands onto your knees, pulling back with your hands to sit up a little straighter, a little taller. Get you center frame here. Hands find the heart. A light press of your thumb against your sternum as you line up each finger. A slight tuck of the chin. Ending our practice as we started, watching as our breath flows in and watching as our breath flows out. From this place of internal awareness, I invite you to bow as you thank yourself for practicing yoga and as we offer our practice out to each other and to the world. The light within us honors and respects the light within you. And in this light, we are one. Namaste.
Namaste.
Thank you at home for practicing with us.
Thank you.
Thank you, Kathy, for practicing with me.
Thank you, Mark.
And we'll see you next time. And I love how namaste sounds just like have a nice day.
Have a nice day.
And we'll see y'all real soon.